Benediktus dan Yahedi bukan Tanibrata kelas dibuat dan semua anak ini misalnya Kurniawan kelas A1 action 34.
And I am Dharmawan class A1 action 64.
Okay, so let's start things off with the definition of an earthquake. An earthquake is the sudden shaking of the earth. It is caused by the energy released in the earth's crust. Now, how does it work? Energy release creates seismic waves. The seismic waves spread in all directions, like ripples in water. And then, hypocenter is where the earthquake starts underground. Now, what it causes is collapsed buildings, landslides, tsunamis, widespread damage, and destruction. So you know, an earthquake can lead to another disaster, which lead to more damage.
Thank you, Dharma, for that wonderful explanation. Now I'm going to explain in more detail on how earthquakes actually happen. Earthquakes happen when stress builds up along the faults up in the Earth's crust. Faults can become stuck because of friction, while the tectonic plates will continue to move. When the stress becomes too strong, the rocks break and split, which releases energy. This release of energy is what causes the earthquakes with seismic waves, which causes the ground to shake. The underground starting point of the earthquake is called the hypocenter, as Dharma explained, or the focus. However, the starting point of the earthquake on the surface of the earth is called the epicenter. Next, I'm going to talk about the Earth's crust. So, you know how the Earth is divided into four sections, which are the crust, mantle, outer core, and the inner core. The part we're going to be explaining is the Earth's crust. The Earth's crust is divided more into four parts, which are called tectonic plates. And most earthquakes actually happen along those plate boundaries. Other than that, earthquakes can also be caused by man-made causes or non-man-made causes. The non-man-made causes are volcanic activity, while the man-made causes include mining, underground explosions, geothermal energy, oil extraction, open-pit mining, and reservoirs. The theory about earthquakes is called the elastic rebound theory. The theory suggests that the energy that is stored and builds up in the Earth's crust will rebound, releasing the energy into kinetic energy or seismic waves, which will cause the earthquakes.
Thank you, Dustin, for the wonderful explanation. Now, you may be wondering, what are the causes of earthquakes? Well, there are multiple causes of earthquakes. The first one is tectonic plate boundaries. Earthquake mostly happens when tectonic plates meet. There are multiple types of tectonic plate movements. The first one is divergent. As you can see here, the plates move apart. The second one is convergent, where the plates collide, and the third one is transform, where the plates slide past each other. The second one is sudden rupture process. Pressure builds up in rocks until they suddenly break, releasing energy as seismic waves that causes earthquakes. As you can see, the Dustin has said before, this is the elastic rebound theory. The third cause is with the anatomy of an earthquake. An earthquake starts at the hypocenter, which is the focus deep underground. The epicenter is the point directly above it on the surface, where shaking is often the strongest. The fourth one, there are other causes, while mostly caused by tectonic plates. Earthquake can also be triggered by volcanoes, landslides, or human activities like mining.
Thank you, John. Now I am going to explain the effects of earthquakes. There are three general effects of earthquakes. First, social effects. Earthquakes can cause death, injury, and homelessness when a building collapses. Many survivors experience fear, stress, and trauma, especially during aftershocks. Schools and hospitals may stop operating because of the damage, making daily life more difficult. Communities can also face social problems due to loss of homes and jobs, while poor families are also often affected most without living recovery or slowly. Next, the economic effects. Earthquake can heavily damage roads, bridges, buildings, and electricity systems. Repairing this damage costs a large amount of money for both government and citizens. Many businesses close, causing unemployment and receive closed income. Tourism and trade often increase because people feel unsafe visiting affected areas, and overall economic growth can slow down for years even after these conditions.
Okay, thank you, David. So, after we worked, there are major causes of earthquakes. Now, for the third one is environmental effects. Strong ground shaking can often trigger landslides, blizzards, and tsunamis, which can, of course, cause many damages like coral reefs, forests, and beaches, which are also habitats for animals and also as humans. Why is this important? Well, in this process, animals and also plants are often injured, killed, or even worse, forced to leave their habitats and find a second home. Now, after that, there are secondary causes, which are fires, fossil leaks, and other problems, which can of course pollute water and groundwater, which can of course, and also that doesn't only affect us humans but also animals. That makes it hard to breathe and hard to recover from these disasters.
Thank you, Jensen, for the total explanation. Now I will explain the examples of earthquakes that have happened. Now, the first one is in Libya, Chile, 1960. It is the world's strongest recorded earthquake with a magnitude of 9.5. It is absolutely massive in structure and has an unbelievable scale of devastation. The second one is in Sumatra, Indonesia, 2004. It triggered a massive Indian Ocean tsunami. It affected multiple countries across Southeast Asia and Africa. Hundreds of thousands of people have been impacted, and it has become one of the deadliest natural disasters ever. And then in Tohoku, Japan, 2011, a 14-meter tsunami generated by an earthquake. It caused a nuclear crisis at Fukushima. Multiple disasters triggered by one event. It shows cascading tectonic plate, and it is unusual for this location. It is different from typical plate boundary earthquake. And then the last one is in San Francisco, USA, 1966. It is a major rupture around the San Andreas Fault. It shows constants in fault-line cities. It is important for urban earthquake damage. It is an important reminder for urban earthquake damage.
Alright, so for an example, the government's efforts in managing earthquakes are the devastating earthquake in West Nusantara are endemic and Central Sulawesi in 2018. The Indonesian government worked together with the United Nations Development Program to launch the special program. This program focused on rebuilding damaged schools, hospitals, houses, roads, and other important infrastructure. Now, Prajna uses the Build Back Better. What is this? Well, this approach is designed to be safer, stronger, and more resistant to future disasters like earthquakes. Besides rebuilding, the program also promotes disaster preparedness, environmental sustainability, gender equality, accessibility for people with disabilities, and of course, active community participation. Through these efforts, the government aims to create stronger and more resilient communities that are better prepared for future earthquakes.
Thank you, Jensen. Now, after we learn about the definition, causes and effects, and the examples, we have to make sure that we have to find this correct solution in order to reduce the effects of these earthquakes. The first one is that we should be able to make and construct global seismic hazard maps. As you can see from this image, scientists collect data of earthquakes from around the world, along with, and you can see the orange line of the tectonic plates. We can see that in the green area, it is where the low majority of earthquakes happen, and it's going to go more red, it's going to be more likely, and with more destruction. After that, we can also interpret recorded ground motions. Ground motions near an earthquake fault are usually very difficult to interpret because seismic waves are affected by fault movements, rocks, soil, and site conditions. Earthquake section shaking usually begins with P waves, then followed by the stronger S waves, and then later surface waves that can cause long-lasting ground motion and damage. As you can see here, this is a graph that I found where it shows that the time and the shaking of the earthquake.
Thank you, Dustin, for the explanation. Now, these are the solutions to earthquakes. The first one is earthquake-proof buildings. Buildings are strengthened using steel reform structures, which are this one, flexible frames, which are both of this, and shock absorbers, like this, such as base isolation systems. These technologies are buildings to remain stable during earthquakes. The second one is developing resistant structures, which is this one. Engineers design buildings to resist earthquakes, forces by following building codes and using strong structural systems. The goal is to reduce damage and prevent collapse during
in case an earthquake ever so happens to strike your place. Thank you.